Okay, masigi ek se masigi ek ki makha da laptop ni ko. Masigi masigi ek ki makha da almost all the majority of the Delhi-based terrorist groups and an ancient K ko moi mayam se factions of an ancient K which do not come to peace talk. They are still under categorized as terrorists under this act. So as we see here, it is an upgrade on the Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act, amasung Prevention of Terrorism Act. Matam gi ahong balak gi matung ina. Akhoi terrorists sum upgrade tawrakpada akhoi laws to deal with terrorists and unlawful activities act me deal tonbo honarakpada. Hausi akhoi na chanariba law si unlawful activities and Prevention Act asini ko adu hausi tadaga potaga si rebuild tawkhre animak. So akhoi na ngasi masigi sila kari nainagdawriba no harga nahan akhoi na nainatiba insurgency groups mayam adu masigi ek ki makhada chanmana maram hoiraga akhoi nainagdawriba ko. Okay. Adubu masig ek sishu matam gi ahong bagi mutungina with the need of time, with emerging new security challenges ko masig law sida sum amendment lai 2014 da amendment lai 2009 da amendment 2008 da amendment lai giveni 2012 da amendment lai. The latest amendment was amendment in 2019. Masigi 2019 ki amendment sida karino important provisions se karino hairaga say the act was amended to designate individual as terrorists on certain grounds provided in the act ko hanadi only organization se terrorist organization ni han declare to yaram meba adubu individual se terrorist ni haina individual identify designate to yadaba na maram orga kaidore group ma de ramba mi do group adu terrorist organization ni haina declare tawragadi he or she can just change his group and circumvent the law. Adugumba limitations mayam du layu bana maram hoiraga as 2019 ki amendment praga. Now an individual can be designated as a terrorist similar, and then it empowers the Director General of NIA to grant approval. Kitang uzik ko na lako singdo class yam hawdri ko. We're just starting it. We have not missed anything. Miss kayo tao de hawdang ayri. So it empowers the Director General of NIA to grant approval of seizure or attachment of property when the case is investigated by NIA. Masigi ek se center na pass tawni ko central ek ni. Adubu as we know, police and public order se police ki domain neva ko India ki kind of separation of power di matung inadi. Adubu these are extraordinary acts to deal with extraordinary situations ko. Aduna as NIA, that is why NIA come into this picture. Hanadi kari tawno hairaga there were delays lairame ko. Kari hairaga approval of the state ki DGP ki approval darkar laiba the state ka center ka synergy laita budagi delay laiba another laiba or work taw chanindaba matamda coordination lairakta synergy lairakta dum issue khar lai and then it leads to delay ko dum yam lai so da adu hojikti kaido yare hojikti NIA ki makhada it empowers the officers of NIA of the rank of inspector or above to investigate case of terrorism ko asilay hanadi inspector rangi mathakta gi oibra and oibuni
sir screen
yes ude
and when a folder or a file or a toga
file on a toga acha wait this going tawgani ayenge ko Ubra.
Ude, sir.
Ude.
ꯎꯔꯦ sir.
우회 야고요, sir.
Ureko yareko.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. By the way, when with any act of terrorism, see, center the kaktanate ko power lives, state to investigate the VI, and the center to investigate the VI. Anima say investigate the VI. And then, kaya hanging a CGO in the just a Kanoga relation like discuss the yeah, discuss the maybe 3 topics. See UAPM internet shutdown aduga armed forces special power aduga kitang happen na si mashi ek ki makhada as aina sa high ko terrorist organization jingse mashi ek ki makhada they can be declared as such adudagi thoidok handok na 2019 gi amendment lak podagi di individuals who terrorist ni haina ekoina designate to biare and appropriate action can be taken against him. Dung say hana leramba UAP amendment lagting the hana leramba the shortage of human resources in NIA because of the certain requirements of the rank of officers to investigate the cases ko adugumba laibu the hojikti inspector masung above moina tawiyare and then delay leramba when seizure or attachment of property of the criminals or terrorist organization due to the state ki permission law the state DGP ki permission law madugumba mayam the provision the hojikti law thokre hojikti director general of NIA ko NIA na case investigate taw taragadi NIA ki director general duna adum permission PBR it no more requires the permission of the state state police ki ko thok tadre aduga aman amuka masigi ek se Canada apply to VI. The foreigner to apply to VI, citizen to apply to VI. Masigi exit foreigner to apply to VI, Amasung, Indian citizen to apply to VI. So, asidi ay disum na basic ama an hap na ko ren ay PDF dum thagal lage. See, karma ina declare to bani. Declared of power of the union government. If a center deems an activity as unlawful, then it may, by way of an official gazette, declare it as so. As the more provision death penalty, life imprisonment as highest punishment. Under the act, the investigation agency can file a charge sheet in maximum 180 days after the arrest, and the duration can be extended further after intimating the court. Masida court Karamba court no higher masi equity chamba session court na yadiko masida Supreme Court na rule Supreme Court ki ruling amalay Supreme Court na rule tawuse karira higher it says that the Supreme Court rules that the magistrate cannot extend proof under UAPA kanana adu karamba court na equity higher ba kind of proof se extend tawiyabra matam se higher it can only be extended by special court designated under UAPA section section 43D of UAPA ashina authorized tauba special court designated tauba ashikaktana masigi time se masigi duration of the probe se extend tauba adubu ashida kaino the idea was good. Idea di pai gari kino haragati first to reduce the time lag call and case to fast track the case to bring about solutions to bring about justice in a faster way in a more effective way call. Namasung hana amendment lacting at the leramba delays mayam call and saying ngasai panjakido madu mayam do amasung individual do terrorist ne haina designate tawdabnina organization amadu lairamba terror or unlawful activities ta yauramba mi do organization do unlawful organization or terrorist organization ni haina designate tawrako matamda madum logi loopholes yengaga madu organization do thado organization da atopada muk chalaga but the activities remain the same ko adumain tawgi laibagi hojik moina hojiki masida organization do khakta natabida me do busu terrorist designate taw yare haina masigi amendment jina lakoneba. But all that is well and good, the intention is good. Adubu akoi the question like sidi karino hairaga the misuse of this act karino hairaga akoi na jik han leramba tada amasung pota ek matam da su misuse se yam lerame ko and adu mak the oibana bu conviction rate se yam nema me less than 5% ko adu lerame adu lere aduna masigi act as another amendment law consideration issues it still remains madudi karin haraga vague definition karigino haraga it does not define terrorism and definition of unlawful activities aduga terrorism amasung unlawful activity asigi word anisida yamna chawba kari hain it can encompass any activities and then there is clear cut definition like tabako masigi loopholes ani se masigi word ani se use tawraga many people can be implicated ko yana daba khara mushidaba pamdaba NGO sarkar gi against ngang bami sarkar gi against thabak taw NGO ko adugumba mayam se masigi action use tawraga silence taw yaba adugumba gi possibilities like gi concern lai amasum excessive and discretionary power to government. Because no objective criteria has been laid for categorization of an individual as a terrorist. Aduga amasung challenge to the fundamental rights like Article 14, Article 19(1), Article 21(a). Aduga Article 21. Aduga mayam laire. Karigidamak no hairagadi. The Act does not provide an opportunity to the individual termed as terrorist to justify his case before the arrest. Arrest mamang that he has no right to justify. And contrary to the principle of innocent until proven guilty. The low conviction rate. Conviction rate of people who are registered under UAPA. Between 2018 2018 20 masi ani gi maraksida UAPA gi makhada terrorist ni or terrorist organization ni haina designate masigi law gi makhada unlawful activities prevention act ki makhada masigi law makhada case lokat ki mayam se conviction rate se yam nemba it's just 3.1% of the cases ko 2018 to 24. And then the issue of appeal process. Act provides for appeal, but government itself will set up 3-member review committee, 2 of whom can be serving bureaucrats. You know, appeal se kadai ke tawbiya basi government na set up tawbudawna first hire government na phasu phare ko government na case pansile adugi mathak tu da basi hire appeal tawbudawa committee se muk sarkar na seme sida muk masigi membership kanana mu oi 2 of whom can be serving bureaucrats. Who are the government? Government is just not the name, but it is the people who are constituting it. Bureaucracy, it's part of the government. How high we are, we can say that relation though the impartiality separation of power irai like the big picture do asini unlawful activities and prevention act aduna koi prelims point of view gi maru di karino hairaga masigi law India the terrorist organization amasung any person designated as terrorist or any organization designated as unlawful organization masimyamsi masigi act ki makhada declare tawbuni amasung masigi act ki makhada kanabu declared the terrorist or unlawful activities involved tawbuni haiba high na designate tawba yabra hairi foreigner busu yai India gi mi busu yai ko masigi case kana na asigi law gi makhada karamba authority karamba either state force or central force ko karamana investigate tawba yage haibam tunda kenogi state ki makhada labor police force na suyai, central ki makhada labor NIA na suyai ko. Both state and center can investigate under this act. Asi laire ko NI kanogi Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Mathang di kari lai internet shutdown. Eko issue nahanta ngairi ko internet shutdown lai kiu daw. Asi ngahak yimin na si kari no haibdo ko. Internet shutdown. One of the hot topic in Jammu Kashmir da kaino lai kiu matamda Article 370 majum 35A lauthok kiu matamda koina khangi numit kya ani no kaino lai kiu daw. Yam mani internet shutdown total lai kiu ko. Aduda asida akoina khangda with karino hairga internet shutdown tawribse karam law gi makhada by what authority, under what law, under what rules the government impose this internet ban, or who kanana masigi internet shutdown se order tawbe yabra, who is authorized to shut down the internet call. In 2020, the Supreme Court of India held that access to information via the internet is a fundamental right under the Indian Constitution. Masigi wording se kitang muna yingbiyo ko. Karigino hairaga Supreme Court of India held that access to information say via the internet is a fundamental right. Internet is a fundamental right. Say access to information via the internet is a fundamental right. Masi confused at Pigano. Siguma sing sidani UPSC advantage lauraga. Access to internet via the access to information via the internet is a fundamental right under the Indian Constitution. Internet is a fundamental right. Aduga hauji high river internet ban se karamba ki makhada central law or notifications or rules ki makhada yabra hairgadi sida laire. Second si sida yabra okay ahum laibani CD 2017 gine 144 niko section 144 ni 14 natte 2017 gi mamangda the internet suspend toramba internet shutdown toramba se under section 144 of CRPC ko koi curfew ga thamba kari huma laina adugumba adu section 144 sijinabni CRPC masigi makhada masigi section of CRPC gi makhada internet se ban torambani adugu Supreme Court na masi kanogi I think 2020 ki verdict or before that yade haina hai hivne I ko hai fet ko I madu checking simum so it is better if I go to reference so idena ko aduna phagdo mali adubu hauzik as of now hauzik ki oinadi ekoina internet shutdown tawribse si 2017 ki rule ko telecom service public emergency and public services rule 2017 masigi rule se telegraph act ki makhada rule shemani masigi rule ki directives ki matungina hauzik se internet ban tawribse masigi makhada ban tawbni ko adu masig internet ban se kanana internet se ban taw yabra hairaga home secretary of the country ko asiga home secretary of state's home department can pass such an order as ekoi nahan internet ban taw order talk to special secretary home oi mala komana talk to so secretary of state home department mabani na khakta pass taw ai ko these two atopa chief minister na taw ya de governor na taw ya de so prelims point of view to the asigum nitty-gritty se asini maru oi se home secretary na yai amasung secretary of state home department mabani na masi order se taw yai based on Telecom Service Public Emergency or Public Rules 2017 call. And this also stated that any such order should be taken by a review committee within 5 days. Adubu internet shutdown say masigi India to the it should be a last resort. Adubu yam toy India to the internet shutdown issue say Jammu Kashmir or any issue Rayos Manipur internet shutdown yam toy India is called internet shutdown capital of the world. Internet shutdown capital of the world in India. It's not without its merit. India's internet restrictions accounted for more than 70% of the total loss to global economy in 2020. Of all internet restriction economy the loss masida India the contribution is 70%. India is around exact number it's more than 1 billion, 2 or 3 billion loss to India's GDP because of but the point here is internet shutdown to Canada bad side to what are the rationale for internet shutdown? The brilliant point of view the list down talk about rules mayamdo amasung kanana tawya kanana tawya de ko madun maru masida judgment amalai 2020 and hybrid Supreme Court of India held that access to information via the internet is a fundamental right under Constitution. Have the judgment no Haradi Madugi judgment no Anuradha Bashin. Kutitira money. And if that Papa talk to Zuko, if the them Thorani Anuradha versus Union of India. Asigi judgment sida Supreme Court na piba verdict neko se. So I want to stress the point again. It is not saying that internet is a fundamental right. It's just saying that access to information via the internet is a fundamental right. But what are the rationale for internet ban? First is check fake news. The fake news na maram moiraga riots thokpa dum thengnare ko adudi the spread of communally charged videos ko aduguma recent cases Nupur Sharma case ko mana television gi the debate ngang ki ba pot ki video video me am spread or viral or social media spread or and then added to that is the communal environment that the country is now, and then foiled by the fundamental and radical elements on both sides. Law and order situation in almost all part of India. Control internet ban shutdown the rationale in Manipur internet ban communal Iran law and order maintain control internet ban as the preventive response the national interest for national sovereignty. Economic impacts 2020 Indian economy suffered loss of to the tune of 2.8 2.8 billion due to 129 separate instances of internet suspension. Just in 2020, 2020 the 2.8 billion mang and this 2020, if we know, Corona maybe perhaps our economy was not doing so good, but the number can change depending on when this ban and all of this happen. And then masi internet ban karigino hairaga apart from the economy side it disproportionately affect the poor people. Karigino hairaga internet bans tawagana mostly it is the mobile internet services moina ban tawudi adubu ekoina khangadawudi karino hairaga India dadi like Telecom Regulatory Authority of India try gi kanogi matungina report matungina India dadi around 97% around exact around 97% of the total internet users are mobile device users. Only 3%, only around 3% is broadband users. Aduna high karino the broadband city like most of the time lower section, lower strata of the population, lower income groups, most of them mostly internet depend for financial services, banking services, whatever it is called. But disproportionately affect India population because 97% of us are using more high internet ban. We don't ban all the internet services, we ban only the mobile services. But the fact of the matter is India internet users in around 97% of India internet users in 2019 try report maybe it will still I think be around 9% data collect internet bans in a population disproportionately affect we I have an idea internet ban internet ban Williams point of view first karamba login khada yabano kanana tawba yabano exai high greco adu leire adubu ekoina mains ki perspective to yengagadi hosi aina sai high hiudo why internet ban kari ban tawribano the positive side and the negative side the economy the shock lakpa and then digital literacy the effect lakpa against human development, economic, psychological, social, journalist create trust deficit. Karamai trust deficit bano hairagadi. Sarkar na because horen Anuradha Basin Madugi case case ki Supreme Court ki judgment do iron PDF haragno ying bagan so yan khangani madu the high regulation mayam do sarkar na implement means adu what does it say? What is the message? The message is that the government can do anything that like the government of the time wants. Court put due process court put due respect due process higher due respect court ki order follow court ki judgment for respect machine the effect trust deficit on the government side and also on like the respect of the judiciary. See one of the penoni aduga amada mukchatsi there is Armed Forces Special Power Act Armed Forces Special Power Act I think why I'm bringing this is because I see the Armed Forces Power Act ay nang the pura executive hairaga like Manipur insurgency because of the insurgency in Manipur, Armed Forces Special Power Act should not reach the extent of because of our law and order issues, because of insurgencies. And also because of the recent removal of Armed Forces Special Power Act from certain districts, some states of Northeast India. So, the Armed Forces Special Power Act Northeast because of insurgencies, violence in northeastern state like we get them of the past already. The Jammu Kashmir is passed extend away Punjab so extend or Miko. Punjab to like Adu Masigi Ek Kimakasida disturb area behind Irish. Exam the Hungary disturb area se karam provision karam eki makha disturb area ne haina lafok piyage kanana lafok piyai musum karam ek makha lafok piyage haina hairabidi disturb area se ekoi governor na lauthok pai, central government na lauthok pai, union territory oiragana administrator of the union territory na lauthok pai. Karamba ek ki makhada, karamba section ki makhada haragadi section 3 of the Armed Forces Special Power Act. Asigi makhada da ekman disturb area se lauthok pai bako. The makoina lauthok ki busu yai. The power of armed forces under Armed Forces Special Power Act. Actually, power is the yam kre. So some of the basic powers higher. If reasonable suspicion exists, the army can also arrest a person without a warrant. Warrant yaw the vida arrest of VI. Aduga search the premise without warrant of VI. Ban the possession of firearms. If any person arrested or taken into custody may be handed over the office in charge of the nearest police station along with the report detailing the circumstances that lead to the arrest. This is very kind of a little bit of safeguard call. See later. They have the authority to prohibit gathering of 5 or more persons in any area and can use force, even open fire after giving due warning if they feel that the person is not listening to them. See later. See the constitutionality of the Armed Forces Special Power Act. Law and order. Police ki thabak sidi state kini. State ki thabak ni. Adubu Armed Forces Special Power Act sidi Armed Forces ta Indian Armed Forces ta sidi central law ni. And this central law is giving disproportionate power to the armed forces. Maduna masigi case constitutional oidabra haina case fight the Supreme Court Naga People's Movement for Human Rights call NPMHR haina hauzik su dum Naga People's Movement of Human Rights pangan kan organization similarly Naga People's Movement for Human Rights already Naga People's Movement for Human Rights versus Union of India. Masigi case to the Supreme Court na kari hai. Supreme Court na hai. Armed Forces Special Power Act is constitutional. Nothing wrong. Common hai se. Kari kidamak tano hai raga. And asigi case se kitang yengsi in detail ko. Masigi kari hai raga. Armed Forces Special Power Act does not confer arbitrary power to declare an area as an disturbed area. Arbitrary power and any area say ni amana hekta governor oigera ngasain hagi authority governor oigera central government oigera administrator of the union territories oigera any area say disturbed area ni haina declare to yate. It is based on certain conditionalities ko. Aduna maram oigera Supreme Court ki logic se sini extraordinary law ni ko extraordinary circumstances aduna center na anywhere at any time state the affair that in truth more power piraga mo tawbanate due process lay ko aduna one of the reason ko adugi court ki judgment do the constitutional way hand high judgment do the moina conclusion la provision kharani masise ko aduga amana amuka akoi kangani article constitution provision it is the duty of the center to protect India se protect laws to enforce center the central power la ko adugi exact provision doi housing ko law yadre so aduga amuka one important Supreme Court judgment in Kari Hybra in 2016 the Supreme Court Kari Hybra the army is not immune to any prosecution by criminal court if found committing any offense. Asigumba Supreme Court ki ruling Supreme Court ki judgment si the base tawraga ko hindak thokiba voting Nagaland ki monis ke thokiba madu su kari haigni the judgment lakti ko case chatri du lakum matam de ai kan mani masigumba judgment mayam se use tawraga finally justice TP gadra aina igi thazab lai adu sing haige ai ngasi class e current affairs class e ka prepare di tawdabni kari ngarang halawza long hairapni ngasi evening di current affairs wen tawse han ko ai gi ngasai gi keno course to notice insurgency do madu loisinge haina singbudi ki class ai prepare tawne ba aduna time lag to kitang like adubu but still aina hairiba issue ahum se masi hoji paw ekoina naina giba keno do notice ki issue do maduda related oiba connect tawba yaba adugumba keno ni issue ahum ni current affair ki party madudu loisilasi now we still have 30 minutes aduna aziki aigi class notice insurgency ki se do mai continue tawzarage masi continue tawsida just give me some 3 minutes call abdi aigi kan tawzage okay tawrisiyo thu the thora di pallana masida recent oiba hairagadi khoi ji naga framework agreement issue amane ko aji ekoina naina notice ki area da recent development haibtare asida oirage Bodoland Territorial Council ki Bodo Accord sign tawki amani adugi part de khoi hoji Europe 3 ne kona Assam naina butungda current affairs class naina bamtamda tawse ai ngasi gi kaino harga idea do the current affairs ki sumana lakani have like like fazana di prepare tawtre ngasi di seng hairage ai gidi osiki internal security ki part to loshilga and adu my preparation was on there and then all my materials also there ko then matang gidi sigi mo chat do work after 2-3 classes current affairs ki do fazan tawse so where is that file okay Hoi nan ke no phau loi kre ko Manipur loi re Nagaland loi re adu de ngasi Mizoram ga Shillong adu loisin mangam re yengse Meghalaya ko Shillong hai jile hoji Mizoram ki internal security challenges hoji ki oina di Mizoram thoidokpa mawanda problem laitre after signing of the Mizo Accord ko adubu Mizoram the MNF ki movement se haipet naina si as a lesson in history ko and also as a lesson for bringing about solution to the prevailing northeastern issues kari gino har gati Mizoram the ki issue to the Mizoram movement was come much later ko much later than asigi khoi gi NNCN IM ki issue ki kona lakne ba moidi kona la agasu makoi di solution pura pangam kre they are one of the most peaceful state now ko ajiki adu oi badi kari gino sinida peace talk su Nagaland abji moi ki peace talk su yam kui jibanate adu asigi ekoi Nagaland ki naga issues Nagaland issues natra ato issues sing sidi peace talk lai basu koi re koi se I felt to 1997 do ceasefire sign program ko lugumogi naga framework agreement naga accord framework agreement 2015 the sign tawre ndu loi budi naidri ndu kramani tawza no haibu mai pediyengsi kari no khenari se kari mak no haibu ndu Mizoram yengsi ko Mizoram gi movement se Mizo National Movement Mizo National Front MNF asina lead tawni madubu makhoi ki origin movement jikramaina haurak khibano hairaga Mizoram se part of Assam edu matamda part of Assam district ne ko masi se main issue the cause se karino hairaga first makhoi ki distinct identity se Mizo identity se ko masi asini Moidi Assamese ka di khenare ko Bengalis moigi neighbor Assam da oiraga su most of them Bengali neighbors ni madu the distinctiveness ko oire adudagi di amana karino hairaga language policy of Assam policy of Assam government. Kari tawna Assamese state language na around 1960-61 Assamese state language man adopt torakpa. Masi torakpa sida Mizo sing na yadre. They raise up against it. And then masigi mamangda asi mautam hai gadra ko. Karma pronounce the over mo lon exactly khangre spelling budi asini. Masi karinar femin ne. Asi environment da kaso hangak pe ko masigi term pe piraga current affairs kita ko prelims kita masigi terms piraga this terms piraga is related to which kahara ko it's a feminine or grammar anything piraga the man so hangak pagi chan possibilities ko hangak pa yabagi adugumagi point na mase this is a feminine which moi local knowledge ki matung ina ko I say right 49-50 years adugumba every 49-50 years asiguma matam se ko exactly accurate with the way but asiguma like after every 48-50 years asiguma ki time skills ida feminine se and regular na mo history the thoi hai man masit focus career mine thok na asig phenomenon se part of northeast India ko ching hill district bamboo yang hobuma from the suma sig socially ko bamboo se flower to bamboo se mapan salak pa wa se mapan salaga salak pa kanda wagi the flowering loiraga type of the coffee to madu mam do madu namaram moiraga population of red se usi ki population se pura explosion of the population of the red madu like the granaries standing crop masi makai effect tawraga masi famine situation se adum recurrent within around 50 years every 49 48 50 years mind tawo like me ndugu sama masigi 1960 or 61 asi oyni ko masida around this time asida neba asida kari tawra masigi matam lakpo sida moigi mizo gi leader singna mizo gi organization Assam gi sarkar di haijabani sida Assam gi different culture ko different geography different history adugumasu different understanding of life different knowledge of the area aduguma live ni mo ni thoina lawbi da ko adu as a midni legend ni ka but ultimately moisu already effect to the asing bagi Europe ko matam dadi measure budi local su very we have the perhaps it was too late or too little and it cannot like satisfy the Mizo people ko adu moi response to in response to all of this cause and high but distinctiveness adu the Assam government language policy imposition of Assamese ko adu the Assam government response in this feminine condition and also the issue of Sakma and Bru because the Mizo people do not want these people in their territory and the resettlement of this Chakmas and Brus in the region or in the area where the Mizos consider as their own. Mogi domain hana kanjabam from the masigi tribe anisi mogi settlement se gisula koda masi mayam se punchilaga aji Mizo National Front haina aji mogi insurgent movement is mine evening but and tactically higher the call perhaps they are one of the most successful and they wage one of the most successful warfare and they with that kind of militaries or weapons that they have they were almost successful in capturing almost all the Assam Rifle Post police stations and the government offices that they want to except for the one AR in Aizawl the labor AR came except for that atopa area the leramba AR came they were successful to a great extent and also it is the only instance where Indian Air Force was used against its own citizen. How's it how India history the Indian Air Force has never been used against its own citizen except operation against the Mizo National Front. Asida kaktani madugi matamandu sarkar si Indira Gandhi ki sarkar ni. So except in Mizoram, nowhere else in India and in the history of India has the armed forces been used against the oppression of its own people. But the question is, Mizoram, where do they get the guns? The question arises again, the international factors. Matam adudadi, you know, 1960s, 70s, 66 the more uprising the hockey. Pakistan was still, Bangladesh was still East Pakistan, and Pakistan is almost ever ready to help any faction who want to destabilize India. I don't know, they get help from Bangladesh. They were trained in Bangladesh. They get weapons help from Bangladesh, which was before East Pakistan. Adubu, 1986 the Mizo Accord signed. Mizo Accord says signed 1986 the underground groups, MNF the underground groups. So they come to the table with the government of India and they signed the Mizo Accord, and those underground they were reintegrated to the civilian life. And most of the Mizo National Front leaders, they become the chief ministers, and this Mizo National Front form a political party, and that is still the major political party in Mizoram. And aduga masida aina first class the problem of insurgency the causes the excesses of the armed forces is a contributing factor in the rise of these insurgencies and in sustaining these insurgencies. And here we can mention the former Prime Minister of not Prime Minister, Chief Minister of Mizoram, Zoram Thanga. I joined MNF, I joined the insurgent movement because of armed forces excessively bombing down here. I Masigi groups, insurgent groups, sounding excesses of the armed forces joined the high answer even the excesses of armed forces even the Jaram Thanga examples EPI. But Masida Fazabudi Karino Hiraga, I know Nagaland, like Nagaland government, this talk has been going on for so long. Mizogi movement somewhere around 1966, and then end in 1986. Adu di parasine. Mesti am haite adu. Just 2 years, not even 3 decades, no. Adu ako using Manipur lairigo insurgency group. Aziki Manipur effect tauba, Manipur effect laiba, communal tension create tauriba, and Manipur territorial integrity. If claim tauriba a group like NNCN IM call. There has been their movement. They've started their movement in 1950s. And then talk like ceasefire like 1997 like talk issue. And then even the framework agreement to 2015 is signed, but still no end in sight. Manipur insurgency the Suyingsi. Manipur insurgency the Suying Matam the Karino. All are that Chahi Kunsa Nipu and ambulance insurgency group by using issue. But how's it for Manipur insurgency groups issue? Not even a single, I think, major insurgent groups of the which are demanding for sovereignty of Manipur, or which are fighting to set up people's government, like a communist type government in Manipur, they are still not on the table. Suspension of operation was signed. Most of them, especially the Delhi-based insurgent groups. So signed ceasefire agreement like using like 3 solutions. So Akoina Mizoram Kanodagi lesson learned why Mizoram case was successful and why the case was not so in other cases. Manipur the Manipur insurgent groups in the Su. There are different trends. Some are ideologically motivated, like PLA. But PLA gumba KCP gumba Kanglaipak Communist Party gumba ideologically ideology the hen chat adman hire ko movement to ideology the base tawba adugumba movement amarom dana other groups which are just which just wants to regain back the lost sovereignty of the state of the former like sovereignty of Manipur or Kanglaipak of that time but koisu hoji peace talk to laktri ready oidri asi this is a asukari oirambajano adudi the interest is best known to them but Mizoram gi case tedi ekoina moi mai pak pungam se kari gi no haiba matamda role of civil society Mizoram gi civil society se yam vibrant way yam influential way civil society role of Mizoram civil society go and then role of churches Mizoram the influence yam kalle they played a huge role adubu Manipur di madugi influence Manipur and Nagaland kayam lairibano lairamagasu kayamu effective oiribano madudi is just for us to decide but Mizoram gi case study akoina Oren answer ga even mutamda learn at the Mizoram gi model se lawraga Mizoram gi lesson lawraga notice ki insurgency issue se solution for the mating pangbaya ga haira ka even mutamda positive role civil society na law kiba process mayamna law kiba role ko madu Manipur su adumain tawragati or Nagaland su adumain tawragati solution hena experience ko hena fast track tawbiya ko pia hena ko EBI ko and this second one or the third one is more demands it's based on territory karina Mizoram the su because yam like Mar group like Mara group like and Mizo group like group yam like adugu moi demands territorial based hoiba masigi boundaries Mizo haiba matam the loina groups se moina abikari hai to a certain extent ko loina mak se inclusive buba ngambagi picture kar buba puraga demands geographical based hoidaba geographical base hoiba just Maragi natraga just Margi adumaina hoidabida ko Mizo group of people yona territorial and geography do in a demand of moiste aduna maram moiragasu and lie his oramai money handing idiko and then other one is compromise on both side sarkar ki side tasu amasung aziki underground side tasu the the MNF group they were ready to give up on their position of sovereignty. On the other side, Sarkar they were ready to integrate, bring back these hardcore insurgents back and integrate into the society. Come to the table. The door is wide open for you. You will be citizen of India, on equal terms with everyone. And then space for reintegration PBBA. Compromise on both sides. Asini. These are some of the features that we see in Mizo insurgency. Kallo, an insurgency so fierce that Indian Air Force has to be used to subdue that operation. To subdue this insurgency. Adugumba insurgency say with the stroke of a pen in 1986. Loishin kiwa moi wari se insurgency ki wari se. To a great extent for Mizoram. Dunamasi se answer even matamda notice insurgency even matamda we can always talk about Mizoram. Yam either want to listen from Mizoram ko law to listen to the Karino and as you had using sine. Asigi laira. And then adubu insurgency se loirabra hire loidriwa mo iso. But yam maru koi within a three the Karino hire and say hi Mizoram gimunum so atopa group yam riva. The Hosik Mizoram the group Amalai say which kind of at least for namesake insurgency more the Lairi say Mar People Convention. Manipur Mar group of Laiko Mar People Convention. I see groups in Eduga bracket D, that means stands for democracy, for democracy having Mar people HPCD. Mar group se Mizoram the yam do the opposite Mar HPC the Gemogi Kedar Singisu Ayamana Manipur the Gi Assam the Gi Adumba Ayam Oini Mogi Kedar Singisu. But it's not much of an issue. Moi demand the Karino higher within the state of Mizoram, Mogi autonomy. Have the more autonomy, the more PVU, Sineco in high say. Their demand is basically that. I don't know the secessionist, the violence, I'm like, this is their demand. Adugi Tripura, and a high new trap group and Ashik Revelation Group and Garo National Front Madugi group Anilai. So Mizoram Shishu Karino Haraga and the Shilong, the bomb Pohaivaga, it's very strange, no? Manipur ka Pokhai, Nagaland ka Pokhai, and the Upper Assam ka Pokhai, the crap because we have been accustomed to it because na insurgency issues from Laira Sida Adum Asigumashi Tog Laira Nina Karani Chaltai Lina go Adum Million Lava Adubu Shilong the bomb Pokhai, the ID cover power. Perhaps that was the first time I know about this insurgency in Shillong, saying I bomb Pokhai the Karinos in Mizoram the book. Meghalaya the Shillong the book, bomb Pokhai, the Karino and the Habitual being from the Moi group Ani as the operate Toribado, Adu the company. And the Yamaru in Sulauru de Mose. And recent at the Toina and that recently bomb Pokhai Chivamusumoi group chairman have a tang till a hall ever to Mugi protest labor. It's in the news, no, lately. And to get a classes who Purapunina, there is Nakasuyam Tada, Brian Kalebu, news the bomb Pohai, Mogi chairman, happy copy the news Karalavi Purapuni. Garu Silong Su a koi tribe of homeland. See the Garo Ramuni, see the Kasi Ramuni, see the Gentia Ramuni Mogi group, if I'm not wrong. Nala Sudum Hiviro and can the more Ellis and the Amama of Sulay or the main concentration though. Masida Ako Yengo Silongi and Meghalaya politics the Yang Seva. Meghalaya politics, no in the Meghalaya chief minister say Ming Tak Ming si Ning Sing Mangam. Meghalaya political landscape say, Masi the Meghalaya politician ng Hang Mokan the Kanzo. Sangma parties in Ayamakam never. Sangma parties say Garo party never. So political domination of certain groups. Aduna Maram where Atopa tribe Aniduna Yadava Pamak it's an infighting we can say because of power sharing. Because of dominance by one particular tribe over the others. I don't know, the High New Tribe Liberation Army, I say, so, Shillong the Adu the lawyer. And then, like I said, Nahan Giduga relate or okay, Nan and NNC I am the mother of all association, all of all insurgent groups in Northeast and High. Maduda Shillong groups issue, NNC I am a support of Uniman Arms Pivni, trained Tawni, and for that, Adu we begin the Moi Karipangi, Moi text from Shillong the low river, high river insurgent groups in the low river text, Makaise Masida, and NCNIM in the ratio of 80% NCNIM I am the Kai Hanapo, of the security analyst, security writers, internal security literature, the IBA, the IPS, the retired of the Koikraba, and then the internal security literacy, the literature, the Sumana thing may call. Asini. The next class T next to the Norris insurgency is Loishilase. Assam ga Ekoyozi Wali se insurgency da Assam Wali Aduga Tripura Wali Adu Arunachal Pradesh Wali Arunachal Pradesh of Sidum Loishin President Arunachal Pradesh the Karino Haraga Arunachal Pradesh insurgency issues homegrown movement. The irrelate more insurgency. Amalera made but that's not important to us at the law and order issue. Amasupriya like Moigi just some politician call disgruntled politician man group masiem na bohon labni, but for all practical purpose it is dead now. Like the adubu Arunachal da issue like because Greater Nagalim project part of Arunachal se yawi Chirang amasung Tirap district se ka masida Naga group khara lai no masigi Naga masigi group se Myanmar ka su border oibani aduna masida ancient IM amasung ancient ki influence ko dominance mabani ki turf war su masida lai kana dominate tawno hona because extortion racket ki damakta kidnapping ki damakta ko social aduga amasung lai riba tribal community ki marak mo ki base sanaba, and then as a transit route Bama da chat pagida shina dam ki damakta masida khara issue lai aduna akhoi gi Manipur gi ancient IM ki Kedar khara ikui I think 1 year ago the Arunachal Pradesh da samrapna Indian Armed Forces na encounter tawraga heart ki gi power khoi thengna bu ko asini moi gi homegrown movement di rai like Arunachal gi internal security issue adu loire adu moi su tribal marakta dum conflict macham sa yana da noina da bagdi like but no major internal security issues based on ethnic or insurgencies homegrown insurgency moi di like adu moi laiba hairagabu their opposition of the people of Arunachal against the settlement of Chakma Hazong in their state ko masidi moi subya yaningdre Chakma Hazong se Bangladesh tagi because of persecution ko Bangladesh tagi lakpa refugees sing ni moise Buddhist lining chatpa mi su yam lai ko Chakma Hazong sing se moise Arunachal da hoji settle tawi moi citizenship ki status ta moi residency ki status ta Arunachal Pradesh ki moi yalom hai tare moise Arunachal Pradesh ta laiba pamde ko adu amadi dum hoi you will see that in news ko pawda dum toin thengna ni Chakma Hazong adu natraga di Mizoram Arunachal Pradesh Assam are two of the most peaceful northeastern state hojiki oni deko adune so any question adu di mathang da ko le hori je Assam ga Tripura khak tangai re adu di pung ama ayuk ki pung ama dum pung ama de losin bangam madara haina is khalle ai class sum extend taw ne ko no issue sounding was many correctly. I extremely slow or I know notice insurgency when I should have the it's closer to our heart, and then MPSC su laibanina. So MPSC when the I three saying MPSC the you know the first time I applied MPSC 2019 do thage han apply tawni adu bodum chap kre du thaba phangdri aduna type of question mum ai thoi thon MPSC gi naina bodi tawdre ko adu bu ena kan di looking at the state of affairs in the state of Manipur ai Manipur gi oiba issues ge adum hangakadra aina ai kan thajabulai. So any question? Question line bro. Do Mizoram gi oinadi sengaradi hojik ki oinadi ko yam kano oidre in the sense lesson from Mizo insurgency ko madudi ekoina aina sai haibu dona answer da ekoi dum EBI lesson from Mizo insurgency adumang natragasu noina nang lesson from Mizo insurgency haidragasu Mizo insurgency ki idea do lawraga nang answer da nang suggestion way forward piba matamda moi the successful way ki do answer jo sinabi ko adu moi the so hoji illegal migration the issue se adum lai adu opposition to illegal migration je moi irai like ko hoji abdi if that migration is from the Ukichin Mizo group ko adu Bruce amasung Chakma asi group ani sididi hoji pausu Bruce refugees moi ga conflict tawna bada khana bada hoji Tripura da sedanga ga lairi ko mi mayam karan Mizoram hallo yadre the Mizoram da halak pasu Mizoram mi sing su pam oidre aduna asigi issue su lairi internal the tribal conflicts ko lairi aduga hoji Bruce they are internally displaced people they are counted as internally displaced people internally displaced people ki question ga hanga de koi Bruce ki example PVI and then internally displaced people have matam the conflict na khakta na te ko internally displaced environment factor na livelihood ki factor na factor mayam lai maduda aina haibudi Bruce se dum kana sijina bi ai hai wa khatani so pung ni adi mapan dare ko pung adi nungdang yam theng di nung sunwai tre ai gi class nga si di swai de sum loi silage adu if there is any question yes hoi tai nang gi voice kitang crack to
network khá ngoài thì bây giờ mình sẽ
hoi ki tare sing
trong cái sai cái femin gì to mà hai cái betul sah
ai irake
tu tu ông tahu hai dia
I think se hangre ko ai su tam ni kan MAUTAM ko asigi femin se asigi phenomenon je adum akoi manipur su ugni ko in the hill district bamboo yam hoba area se oi mafam matung in terminology with dum nan si ne ko si matam da ko chingi lamda kari agni yam wa matam cha ka si ching cha ka cha na lai te na asi yam do ko mete lon da kari ko ra tum ta hai ro ne Amém. Yam se man khoi mate lon da kari kau ge ai ningsing mangamdra
har hai sir har
pan chume pan ga taraga khang mo ko mandu ba yam lai aduga lesson from mizo insurgency da ko na tamba ama yaba ama su ai fail miss tawre autonomy se ko autonomy dari hairaga ji Assam ga Mizoram ga ina sai haibro they are distinct they are different ko from one another ethnicity da oira culture da oira aduna administrative convenience point of view da yenga ga su moigi damakta henna ko power pb ba masa rules sem ya ba laidana self administration hai tarina ko adugi provision su dum yam phabani kanabani aduna akoi manipur ge hairaga di hoji ADC bill se ai adum asishu akoi mina bi ai karigino hairaga support and against na tabako karigino hairaga the idea of ADC bill se akoina Northeast insurgency or any tribal conflicts kuma nainaba matamda internal security gi literature da recommendation ayamba adum thengnagani lairikta autonomy piba magi district council create biba or 6th schedule se extend tawba ga hen ko yam thengnagani aduna aina hiding body masigi issue se ko yondi yakang sensitive boy adubu don't let your emotion take over your answer nang answer even matamda certain group khakti nasa gi group ki interest lorga interest ta answer ignu because you're not here debating on your rights ko you're writing an answer on internal security perspective na security management taw se karamba mong or the best organi have get even na ay yo the best balance with view yaning dawa ma oiraga su ko for the sake of the exam you fake it until you make it have the ko aduna pause khakha like ni ekoi sumai answer even matamda Manipur insurgency or Naga insurgency even matamda yam bias oi ningbagi tendency se ko adum layaba laitaba nateba so biasness di support dara in favor in against ra hybrid di ICC di hybrid if you want to know we can talk personally ko adi laira adu ekoi gi emotion se and ekoi gi sub nationalism se kitang tone down toraga masigi se issues se address to busina the best approach ne haning pa So any more question? Adu noi lyric se nasa nasa gisu hoi laiba budi ayam lainaramgani adu adum aingon nasu lyric material gali dum khara laibani ko noi amagadi that if you want any books, NCRT books or history books, polity books ko abi PDF kuma pamagadi noi source lairagadi lawa yaragadi lawa paide adu share down because I'm also still an aspirant for preparing like you all. You know, the idea share down about, not share down about. I on the case I will like them share down see, and let's all go to Lavasana together. Oh. No in han chat pra in han chat pra na traga chat min nabra. Tau si do chat ti chat si ko me am. So anything more? Later, I will like open the line for 10 more minutes. Adu dum hoi loxining ba sing later dum talk yare. I did 10 minutes later class end call. But before that, if there is anyone who has questions, want to discuss, it's open. I'm sitting here right here. Nahan laptop battery mood laga tau ki video thana ko lairagadi mood kibatungi makata budi dum yawra sarnadi video do hangna jing tha kare hainadi hai adu makata budu suruk tu su yawra yaw mal haina hai sarnadi ko adu yawdragadi dum pamboina adu gisu adum di minute mga dum lotion mi ai di ko tai tarak pi ai society social issues social issues or Indian society. Okay. Social issues ki di saying na haragadi Indian ki social structure se ko asida social issues ke class taglakani han thade Indian society first the Indian society se social issues se deal tau ke harabadi Indian society se han gyan ta hotai Indian society se karama society no hierarchical hanagi caste system musulai ko adugi hierarchical understanding khara like from to because ikoi na ji yengma matamda social issue faced over discrimination bu oigera ko the question on reservation demerit and demerit merits asiguma mayam se because of our history and because of the nature of our society Indian society ki idea from and then we need to have a basic understanding of diversity of India society the face the problem issue of social exclusion condition of women and then condition of elderly and emerging modern Indian society hana the society the model do 100 years ago 500 years ago housing modern society se adu manaribra masi the kari change la iko madugum khangna badi kitang darkar oy aduga hajiki social issues se society hai matam da abi yam me ko dimension do adu section samna hai ban khoi caste se deal torap matam da caste se lof phong na hona matam da enan han so hai ki do untouchability ni constitutional authority caste authority no caste in Indian society de karam role sanari ko adu mayam do deal tawne darkar lai approach the aibu hayo hierarchy first is you have to know the structure of Indian society basic knowledge of Indian society adu khangaba matam makta da nang problems su khangakani first know the society the basic structure of the society second is try to find any society social issues like laku madam class laku madam tarakani first basic understanding of Indian society second is the problems and the challenges in Indian society and then approach how will you solve these issues the sarkar na law the thaudang civil society na law the thaudang as an individual law the thaudang ko madu law in integrate taraka chat yani the basic is you have to know Indian society. Just basic going to be first dukhang about tung the khakta da problem kangni samna hai one of the condition of women women say even a polity the fraction yam population yam then aduna 33% reservation for women in parliament gan tawri ko condition of women asigum se ajik society nai no tam dum nai ni
Sir, kanong tang hangjawg ba sir?
oh
Sir, ngasagi ama san kanigi ama right to internet himbe matang do right to access information via hoy adugi matang do petang amtaga hanbiyo
asise karino haraga hojik se masi hojik ki ekhoina hairiba Anuradha ki judgment hai Anuradha Basin versus Union of India ki judgment se masida Supreme Court na judgment pi base masida asina high masida high university internet right to internet for example right to education ekoi laina ko right to education hai base ekoi fundamental rights ni na ko right to basic education se and then right to life under article 21A asigi mukha 21 ko and then 21 is the right to education asi ekoi education ekoi right to equality ga hai base adumaina right to internet hai base internet accessibility se ai right ni hai do adu hai ba yade hai ne da adu natte hai ba sida hai ri asida hai ri sidi internet to access tawraga internet use tawraga nang information kena taw do madu chakra screen sharing aduneba hoji asida hai ri se access to information the right to information say it's a part of fundamental rights power ekoi right never adu asida hai ri sidi access to information through the use of internet I've never called is a fundamental right I've never asida information the access to information the element do law talk proba the Supreme Court of India held that internet right to internet is a fundamental right haina statement piragati adu la le haba we don't have the fundamental right to access to internet or as a corner ruling like we ko corner interpret it's a ongoing Supreme Court ruling like matang bang like adu ne current affairs update adu at least according to this judgment call how ki status city access to information via internet is a fundamental right have ni internet is a fundamental right have natte asi sidi laire ai keno di explanation di adu nang satisfied tawbra tawdabra di kangre adu prelims ka question hanga the right to internet is a fundamental right ka haina ko and one option la which of the following is correct ka hari adu option already kakthat piro eliminate to biro yawan birno and right to kari right to internet is a fundamental right hierarchy di sarkar ne koi data free de pi ta apne ne natra education basic education se natraga taw dumaina ekhoi gi right se guarantee taw ya abneba taw ta abneba sarkarna adudi not teba the one have the internet to use the information access to access of information through the use of internet and the fundamental right ne have never come sabdi sarkar na internet fundamental right ne have na te the supreme court na ando higher ga di sarkar na ko internet pi
Thank you, sir.
ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯅ ꯀꯩꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯏꯟꯇꯔꯅꯦꯠ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯁꯠ ꯗꯥꯎꯟ ꯇꯧꯋꯤꯗꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯦꯁ ꯇꯨ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟꯗꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯐꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯅꯀꯣ ꯚꯥꯏꯑꯣꯂꯦꯠ ꯇꯧꯕꯒ ꯆꯞ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯩꯅ ꯁꯤ
yes
ꯐꯟꯗꯥꯃꯦꯟꯇꯦꯜ ꯔꯥꯏꯠ ꯁꯣꯛꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯗꯣꯏꯔꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ
yai masi haibe asidune argument for and against lakpase asidune ekhoi answer so ayamba debate laigedawse because when 4 lakh bagandadi argument for fundamental right lakko matamdadi ekhoi gi kaino se fake news spread tawdanaba social order se maintain tawnaba ko integrity and unity and integrity of India adugi interest shut down tawni hairani adu against the shut down against the career among lakani masi shut down tawbana oiraga access to information asida fundamental right effect will high bala aniba asisine basically the answer will be a debate between these two aduda way forward I heard pdf su thazra ke way forward sidane asida abjiki internet ban so exceptions ne like right to access to information via the fundamental via the internet the ekhoi fundamental rights ta ekhoi yema matamda almost all of the fundamental rights has certain limitations ekhoi gi the exclusive oiba ko limitation like the fundamental rights for example right to equality so right to equality or right to freedom so there are certain limitations that is placed on that right call absolute oideba adumaina tawdana hojiki hairiba right to access information via the use of internet issue this is not an absolute right fundamental right or right ne hai targa so absolute right oide matang matam gi matung ina sarkarna this is the right time ko sarkar decide to ba adu masida guidelines ti laigani hojik 2017 gi rules laiba court na nang sahib anurada gi case ta court na khara moi gi judgment the guideline piba ko adu mayam do horen nang notes su yengo to your question, yes, it affects on fundamental right, but all fundamental rights are not absolute. They are subject to limitation. That limitation is set by most of the time by the government or the constitution itself or by other by ruling like Supreme Court yaba or any guidelines, any rules. Depend tawraga karamba matamda ban tawni karamba matamda lawthokuni the number of days that can be banned ko indefinitely ban taw yate han Supreme Court na hai aduma mayam do play lakane but the basic thing is no fundamental right is absolute almost all of the fundamental rights comes with a limitation and right to access information via the internet is also not an absolute right asida lairani answer the class question okay enjoy your weekend no enjoy taro class so I stop taurage next Wednesday or most probably Wednesday see you all and have a good night.